We begin in Uganda, where the stakes are high as the nation prepares to vote in presidential and parliamentary elections on Friday.
Despite 25 years of progress, economic growth and relative stability, many Ugandans say they're concerned about the state of democracy in their country. VOA's Ndiho has more.
Ugandans will go to the polls to elect their president on February 18th for the fourth time since the reinstitution of democracy. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the East African country for over 2 decades, is running for the fourth time as the candidate of the ruling National Resistance Movement, NRM, seeking a continuation of his 25-year rule. General Museveni took power in 1986 and changed the constitution in 2005, suspending term limits. Earlier this month, he began an airborne political campaign, flying planes, blasting music across the country. This tactic has come under fire from Museveni's critics, who say he is spending taxpayers' money for his own purposes. But Museveni dismisses those claims.
Those children who have been bothering you with school fees for self-sponsorship, now we are lifting the burden. We are now saying that child who has performed well but has not qualified for government sponsorship, we have prepared a path for them in our manifesto.
The election pits General Museveni against his closest rival, Dr. Kizza Besigye, in a third face-off between the two men. Analysts say it's a taste of democracy in a country about to start producing oil. Besigye is the leader of the Inter-Party Cooperation, IPC, a coalition of 4 parties. President Museveni defeated Besigye in 2001 and 2006 in elections marred by accusations of widespread fraud. Uganda's opposition criticizes Museveni's regime, calling it corrupt and repressive. Kizza Besigye says there is a lot of anger in Uganda, and if upcoming elections are not free and fair, Uganda might be ripe for unrest.
There is a lot of anger, frustration in our society, without doubt. Whether the rigging of the election is what will trigger off that kind of public riots is one that I think is open to speculation. These things can be triggered off by anything, and normally it's the smallest thing that triggers off the beginning of such riots. But the ground is certainly set for that kind of public expression.
Democratic Party leader Norbert Mao is another presidential candidate who is worried about the credibility of Uganda's upcoming presidential elections.
If we don't have free and fair elections, we are going back to the cycle of violence that we thought was now behind us.
Orara Otuno, Uganda People's Congress presidential candidate, is another newcomer to the Ugandan political scene. He's the former United Nations Under-Secretary for Children in Armed Conflict Zones. Otuno returned to Uganda last year after 23 years in exile to run for president. Other presidential contenders include Abed Bwanika of the Uganda People's Development Party, Betty Kamya, Uganda Federal Alliance, Jabel Bidandi Sali, People's Progressive Party, and Samuel Lubega, an independent. Ndiho, VOA News, Washington.